You can't just be a fan of something and then suddenly throw it away. But for me, Star Wars is really going on the back burner.
Be happy. Don't worry, be happy. Be happy. Don't worry, be happy.
Okay, here we go. This is my third time seeing the movie. First time on Blu-ray. Is it going to be any good? Is it going to be better? Or is it going to kill Star Wars for me? Forever. Let's find out. Okay, so it's done and dusted. Let me get in front of the mic and let's go talk about Star Wars The Last Jedi. Man, I'm so disappointed. I really am regretting buying it. I'm a Star Wars fan. I've been a Star Wars fan since I was a kid. Of course I was going to buy it. Maybe I should have just, bought the stream online or something like that instead. Would have been cheaper. But the impact is still, maybe the documentary is good in it. I don't know. I'll watch that at some point. But for me, it's going to be a long time before I go back to anything Star Wars. Yes, I'll watch the movies, but a lot of you have come from the original Star Wars video where I had a big realization about Star Wars not being for adults anymore, not being for this generation. It's been for kids. It's been dumbed down. But if you think about it, the original Star Wars pleased and made adults and kids happy alike. That was it. Why couldn't they do this with The Last Jedi? It's really beyond me. Tonally, this movie is all over the place. Take the scene where Luke and Rey are kind of in the tree, the Jedi tree or whatever it's called, and it's like, where are you from, Rey? Who are you, kind of thing. And she goes, oh, I'm from Jakku, and it's a really kind of a pivotal scene. It's kind of the first interaction Luke has had with her where he, his level of dislike isn't huge. He's kind of curious to know, where are you from? And then she says Jakku, and he drops the zinger like, oh yeah, maybe this will be from nowhere. That did not work. If they just cut out that line, it wouldn't have detracted from the movie. It would have improved the movie hugely. It was an emotional scene. It was where these two characters were going to try and connect, and they just decided, it's not going to work. Let's just throw in this one line zinger because it's, See, my thing is, it's not a generational thing for Star Wars anymore. Star Wars spans generations. It always has. For me, this is a poorly made movie. Continuity is all over the place, and I didn't really notice this the first time round, but for example, when Poe's running towards his ship and it blows up, he tells BB-8 to go, hey, you go ahead and fire it up, and BB-8 is, boom, he's gone. He's going a lot faster than Poe's running, and by the time Poe gets there, BB-8's just like sitting around going, oh, what's going on? I didn't even jump into the ship to fire it up. I'm just hanging around here for an explosion. It's a very jarring experience to watch this movie. Not as a Star Wars movie, but as a piece of film. It's just a jarring thing where you're kind of going this way and then you're like dragged that way, and it doesn't work. Like the Leia scene. So many people left comments, she's pulling the ship towards her. She flew towards the ship. No matter what way you want to paint it, even if the argument is legitimate, you don't, how can you put that scene in? It is so cringeworthy. Seriously, it's awful. It's an embarrassment to the character. It's an embarrassment to filmmaking. It is so cheesy. Even if she did pull the ship towards her, I didn't know that. I'm a Star Wars fan. Nobody knows that. If you're a hardcore geek, you might be able to work out all of that kind of thing, but if you have to work these things out from a movie, this isn't a Christopher Nolan movie. If you have to work this stuff out, then there's something really, really wrong. Canto Bight. Why? Did they just do Canto Bight so they could have the scene at the very, very end with the kid and the force pulling the brush, which looked like the brush really fell over? Is that the only reason for Canto Bight? Benicio del Toro's character was was just pointless. It's just a paycheck. This scene dragged out and out and out for those flying, jumping donkeys. Finn and Rose, give me a break. You know, Rose was annoying from start to finish, even more annoying in the second viewing. Finn, I love John Boyega. I think he's a really, really good actor. He kind of held Pacific Rim 2 together to a degree, but here the character does nothing. Absolutely nothing. Pointless. He's only in it contractually because he got signed a movie deal for 3 movies. That was it. He's there from a contract point of view because the movie does nothing. He should have died at the end. That would have given him some kind of weight. If he had died towards the end, then that would have given the character some bit of weight. But he didn't die because Rose died instead. Sorry, spoilers, but look, who cares at this stage, right? When you think about it, all of those speeders that were around Finn, the Kylo Ren and the Buys, took all of them out. Boom, 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 one after the other. Not a problem. But they couldn't hit this guy going in a straight line. What about just like sheer logic? I know it's a science fiction movie, but come on. This thing traveling in a straight line, it's a lot easier to hit than the stuff that's veering all over the place, right? I genuinely hate to say this. I genuinely do because, I don't know. People have criticized me for the last video that I made about Star Wars The Last Jedi when the movie was in cinemas. I only paid the once. I went to the press screening, then I took my kid to the normal cinema screening and I paid for that. So I only paid the once, and I gave Disney 19 euros or 20 bucks or whatever they'll get out of the Blu-ray. And that's not me having a dedication to Disney. That's me has some kind of dedication to Star Wars. And yeah, this is the 3rd time I've saw the movie, and I feel like as a Star Wars fan that maybe it wasn't that bad. Maybe it was all in my head. It's not all in my head. I hate to say this, but it's going to be a long time before I go back and watch the original Star Wars movies. Yeah, I'm going to go see the Solo movie because I'm curious. Yes, I'll see episode 9 because I'm curious. And I know some of you are going, well, you're just going to give Disney more money. You can't just be a fan of something and then suddenly throw it away. But for me, Star Wars is really going on the back burner. I genuinely am really and honestly disappointed. This movie, Star Wars The Last Jedi, got worse the second time round. I'll be brutally honest with you guys. I fast forwarded through some of it. The part where Finn met Rose for the first time, fast forward. The interactions and stuff around Hux, fast forward. You know, it's a 2-hour movie. I probably watched it in an hour and a half. Maybe that's not being fair, but I just couldn't endure it. They've taken the Star Wars out of Star Wars. If this was your average old Joe Soap sci-fi movie, then it would have been slammed. The only thing that held The Last Jedi together was the connection to Star Wars. But they have absolutely destroyed it. How Rian Johnson could stand over this as a piece of art is beyond me. As what artistic integrity is there. And look, that's another video. That's another argument about Rian Johnson. He's been covered to death, and you know the guy went in and I think he just went in and did what he's told. I think the Canto Bite scene is probably his and nothing else. But whatever. It doesn't matter. All that matters for me at this stage now is everything that made Star Wars great. The adventure, the sense of... You know, the spectacle is always going to be there because they've established amazing ships and an amazing universe. So that spectacle is always going to be there. But you had... spectacle, you had the emotion, you had the huge thrilling sense of adventure, you had characters you could connect to on every level. Who didn't want to be Luke Skywalker? Adults, kids, who didn't want to be Han Solo? Who didn't want to be those characters? You cannot connect with the new characters. They're awful. They had a good run in The Force Awakens and they were fine, but here, nah, it's all over the place. I mean, how could you do this? How can anyone stand over this and say it's a good movie? As a movie. But as Star Wars, I really hate to say it. They have taken the Star Wars out of Star Wars. And that really hurts to say it because I'm a fan since I was a kid. It's been part of my life for a long time, like a lot of you guys. They've taken the soul out of Star Wars. And I don't think J.J. Abrams, or anybody for that matter, can put it back in. All right, guys. Subscribe button is up there, wherever it is. I'm just so pissed off right now. Thanks for watching.